Listen, there are only two options. Either you conquer Miami Music Week or Miami Music Week conquers you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Emma Kapotes. I'm a Raven Festival content creator and the host of Rave Culture Cast, a weekly podcast dedicated to fans of dance music and rave culture. Miami Music Week is just around the corner, so I figured why not share a little video giving you guys some tips and advice from my past experience attending both Ultra and Miami Music Week so that you guys can go into it feeling prepared and ready to tackle it, because it is a marathon, not a race, and depending on how long you plan on being there, you want to set yourself up for success. So with all that being said, let's dive straight into the tips for today. All right, tip number one, we're going to start easy. Tip number one, don't forget the essentials. Now, I know what you're thinking, duh, Emma, I'm an adult, I know how to take care of myself, but you guys would be surprised that most of the medical emergencies that happen at festivals are people forgetting to do daily things like drink enough water, eat a full meal, get rest. So with that being said, you guys are going to want the essentials. Definitely pack a ton of sunscreen. It's going to be hot as hell and y'all are going to be roasting out there, especially if you're going to a lot of pool parties. Drink plenty of water, bring a water bottle like holder with you if you can, a hydration pack if the shows permit it, but make sure you have access to plenty of water. Try to get rest. I know that sounds crazy because, again, you're there to go have fun and party, but if you can, pick and choose your battles and get some rest. And of course, bring some earplugs. A lot of these events are smaller and more intimate, and you might be in clubs that are small. So bring earplugs, protect your hearing. I personally love using loop earplugs. I'm a big fan of them, so I'll link my affiliate link down below if you guys want to pick some up and save 15% off. Tip number two is definitely check out some Airbnb options, and you can split them with a group of friends to make it cheaper. Same thing for Ubers. Obviously, if you're going with a group, it's going to be cheaper for you to split. But when I went to Miami Music Week, one year I stayed in a hotel. The other year I did like an apartment Airbnb situation, and honestly worked out really nice because we had a kitchen, living room with a TV and things like that. So definitely check out different options. I'll get into lodging in a second. It might be a little difficult at this point because we're just weeks away from Miami Music Week, but if you're watching this for future, definitely look into Airbnb. Whether you're staying in South Beach, Brickell, Wynwood, definitely look into that as well as hotels. Which brings me to tip number three. Decide on your lodging based on where you think you're going to be spending most of your time, so that way you can minimize a lot of rideshare situations. So the Brickell area I think is really cool, and it could be a good spot if you are going to Ultra as well as Miami Music Week. I have a friend that is living over there, and it's just like super beautiful area, lots of good food and dining over there. So that could be a cool situation. Obviously, South Beach. I always ended up staying on South Beach because I was hitting up a lot of the pool parties there and I wanted access to the beach, but it can be a little bit more touristy. And some areas can be like a little sketchy, but South Beach is obviously great if you think you're going to be like out partying a lot and you want to be in walking distance to bars, clubs, things like that. Then you have downtown Miami, which obviously is closest to Bayfront Park, which is where Ultra happens. You've got Space, you've got 11 all over there. So typically I feel like those hotels and Airbnbs go the fastest and are the most expensive because you're right in the action. You're closest to the festival. So you would need to book that like very far out, but super convenient. And then the Wynwood area, I like this area the most. I feel like it's a more artsy area, and I like a lot of like the night events there and warehouses, and it's just a cool vibe overall. I haven't stayed in Wynwood, but I definitely have spent a lot of time there. When I had my bachelorette party in Miami, we went to Wynwood a lot to go out. So anyways, tons of different options, just depends on the vibe, and think about where you are going to be spending most of your time so that it's more convenient for you. Number four, mix up the genres and venues that you're going to for your parties. I think this is a big one, especially for people who want to like discover new music. You can easily get into your comfort zone with, seeing the same genre over and over again, but Miami Music Week has the absolute best to offer in dance music, and there's so much to pick from that it can be overwhelming. But I personally like to choose some parties that are obviously presented by like my favorite labels or my favorite artists, and then I would mix it up and choose some options that might be a little bit outside my wheelhouse, or maybe I don't always typically go to see it. So that way, maybe you're getting some pool parties in South Beach that are like really fun. Maybe you're going to Wynwood at night. Maybe you're going to a smaller nightclub. Maybe you're doing Space at 6 a.m. one day. So I would kind of like mix up the venues so you get a feel of like what Miami has to offer, and you can check out different labels and pool parties and things like that. So definitely mix it up and go see some other types of genre you maybe wouldn't always go and see. Tip number 5 is do not skip out on the Winter Music Conference this year. So it is back after a 3-year hiatus, and they are bringing some absolutely incredible programming. Winter Music Conference is as it's described, it's an amazing conference that brings together all kinds of industry professionals. It's a great networking opportunity. They do all these amazing panels with tons to offer, so you guys can, learn more about the industry. Again, great networking opportunities. So if you're looking to get your foot in the door, this is a must-see. I was going to be speaking on a panel this year, and I actually cannot make it to Miami Music Week this year. So hopefully in the future, I'll be a panelist on the Winter Music Conference. But again, it's just like way easier to have conversations, to learn from the best, than trying to like go and get your name out there at a party where people maybe don't want to be bothered. And obviously like you're going to be sober in this situation. So it's just a great option. So definitely check out the Winter Music Conference website. I'll be sure to link that down below as well. Okay, tip number 6. I learned this one from experience. Do not overdo it at the pool party if you are going to be going out at night as well. I do not want to sound like a mom party pooper. I swear, guys, like you do whatever you want to do. But I made this mistake once and I got far too lit at the Hell Deep pool party. And it was just like being in the sun for hours, because we really went like very close to the doors opening, and we stayed because we wanted to see Oliver Heldens, who was the headliner, like closer to 9 p.m. So I was there for like 7 hours, I want to say. And I drank a lot and I was in the sun roasting all day. So I did not even follow my own instructions. So take it from my experience. And I think that later that night we went to Mala in Wynwood. So it was just a very long day. And I almost like was like, I don't think I'm going to make it out tonight. So if you are doing this, if you have back-to-back events, you kind of just need to pick and choose your battles again and like be smart about it. Drink your water, take breaks, maybe only go to a little bit of the pool party. Maybe you go later and then you go to your after party and you have time to like nap in between, but just like don't get too freaking lit at the party, especially if you're going to go to a pool party and then go to Ultra after. Like just make sure you're easing into things would be my advice. Which brings me to tip number 7, pace yourself. Depending on how long you're going, pace yourself with the events and the parties that you choose so you have and save yourself time to do other things in Miami as well. So again, if you're arriving, say, Wednesday and you're staying through like next Monday, that's a lot of time in Miami. It's a lot of time to party. So maybe ease into the week a little bit, especially if you're going to Ultra as well. Maybe do a pool party here and then just go out to dinner. Maybe you want to go to the beach one day and then go out to a nightclub. Kind of like pick and choose what you're going to do and, build an itinerary that works best for you and your friends. Definitely dine at some local spots. I love the food in Miami. Chill at your pool, chill at your beach if you're at a hotel and you have access to that. Just definitely like build out an itinerary that works best for you, and then you can like rotate between what you're doing during the day and doing at night. Tip number 8, leave plenty of time to get to Ultra if you are going. In the past, I did both. I wish I spent more time at Miami Music Week, but I would do Miami Music Week and I was doing Ultra. The lines and wait times can be absolutely crazy. It can take longer to get there than you know with your Ubers. I learned this from experience too, so make sure you're leaving plenty of time to call your Ubers or rideshare, to get on public transportation, to walk, and then same thing for security. People have waited hours on lines to get into Ultra, so just make sure you're giving yourself plenty of like wiggle room there. Tip number 9 is to eat full meals. Again, there's a lot of good food in Miami. Like I even just would DoorDash stuff, like pro tip to the Airbnb that we stayed in one time, because I was just getting ready and I was like, oh no, I'm going to run out of time to, get to Ultra. So I would just DoorDash like Cuban coffee and like a nice little sandwich. And that way I was still making sure I was eating, even if I didn't have time to like run outside the hotel and go get food. So definitely like DoorDash food to your hotel or your Airbnb. A lot of the pool parties also do not have food. Some did. It just really depended. I feel like most of them did not have any food options at all. And again, if you get there at 2 and you're staying till 10, you're shit out of luck. So, I would just make sure you're packing like granola bars, things like that, eating a full meal before you leave, and just being smart about eating. And then tip number 10, my last tip for this video, is to bring backup options for your outfits and to pay attention to the weather. So weather is obviously very unpredictable in Florida, especially in March. I've seen all kinds of weather. Again, I've had really beautiful, hot days. I've also been there where it's absolutely poured. So pack, little ponchos just in case. Pack your cute swimwear, your outfits for the pool parties, and enjoy that. And remember, again, hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, especially if you're going to be like standing out in the sun. You're not getting like a cabana with an umbrella. Bring comfy shoes. And then depending on the venues you're going to at night, pay attention to their dress code as well. They might have specific, you know, codes as far as to like what shoes you should wear, ladies, what outfits you're wearing, and it just depends. Some are super, super casual, some might be more dressy. So just make sure you're looking at all of your options. Before I let you go at the end of this video, I wanted to give you a little Miami Music Week itinerary suggestions. So again, even though I'm not going this year, I took a look at some of the parties that were announced so far, and I put together an itinerary of what I would do if I was going. So, you know, take these recommendations if you guys want. Again, as I mentioned, I typically went based off of the labels that I liked, just because I knew even if I didn't recognize a couple names, it didn't matter because I just love the label and I know what style of music I'm going to get from it. So that's kind of how I based it. So let's say we were arriving on Wednesday. My choice for the pool party during the day was the Interstellar takeover at the National Hotel Pool, simply because the lineup speaks to me. This is very like melodic based, melodic house, you know, a little bit of melodic techno. You have Yado, Anella, Mathme, if I pronounce that right, sorry, Layla Benitez, and Seven. So, and there's somebody blurred out here, so you have another surprise guest. That would just be speaking to me. That would be a very vibey pool party to start my week off with. And then at nighttime, I had two options. Either I would do Space, because I don't have Space anywhere else. But again, that would be starting off the week hot. But it's Fisher's label. So Catch and Release is doing a takeover, and it's Fisher, Paco Asona, Sosa, Little Fritter. So really fire lineup. Or I would most likely be going to John Summit's Experts Only party, specifically because Leighton Giordani is playing a back-to-back with Max Styler, and those are like my top two tech house boys right now. You also have West End, Abo, Cole Knight, and Roddy Lima, and obviously John Summit's going to play there. Only con of that is probably how the crowd is going to be. Like, that is going to be an absolute shit show in my opinion, but it will be really fun, and you know the music will be fire. Thursday, pool parties, some stuff hasn't been announced yet. So again, I don't see any Hell Deep pool party announced. And personally, I never miss an Oliver Heldens show. So Thursday night, the choice was obvious to me. At Factory Town, you have Sarah Landry in the park area, which I'm not familiar with this as much, but Sarah Landry, so all the hard techno vibes. I still have not seen a set from her. And then inside in the warehouse, you have Worship, all my drum and bass vibes. So that is just like the perfect night to me, and I would 1000% be at that. Friday, my pick for the pool party was the Insomniac Records pool party, just because I would want to go and support them at some point, and this is going to be all like my tech house vibes. So it's Matroda, San Pacho, Omnom, Sid, Coco and Breezy, Jackie Hollander. Like, that would just be a vibe. I think I would be really into that. And then Friday night, I was stoked to see this lineup. Link Miami Rebels presents Medusa, Camel Fat, Mathme again, my boy Max Styler again, Layla Benitez, and Max Stern. So this would be on my radar just because, again, Max Styler is my boy, but Camel Fat would be sick. I do have some of these artists that I'm seeing other nights. So, you know, again, I would maybe take my own advice and mix it up and go see something else, but that is definitely on my radar. Saturday, I picked the La La Land takeover at the National Hotel Pool. I absolutely love Green Velvet. You're going to get a special back-to-back, and his shows are so fun. My boy Leighton Giordani is playing here, Justin Martin, Abo, Victor Calderon. So I thought this was like a really solid lineup, and I love a La La Land party. Saturday night, I picked something totally different. I picked a trance show with Giuseppe Ottaviani. I just interviewed him on my podcast. He is an incredible live trance act, and you also have John O'Fleming. So I was like, why not mix it up? This venue looked really, really cool as well. La Otra. It kind of looked like a smaller, more intimate nightclub vibe, so I thought that would be different to pick. And then Sunday, my picks are James Hype's Stereo Hype Party. This is a pool party, and then you absolutely can't go wrong with him. He's a lovely human being, so I would want to go check that out at Hyde Beach. And then you have Elro to end the weekend. I was just immediately looking at when Elro was going to be, because it's this crazy over-the-top immersive like circus like experience. There's nothing like it. So that is always like something to look forward to, and that is at Factory Town on Sunday, March 30th. So if I was going, those would be my recommendations. Again, there's 1,000,001 shows to pick from, so you really cannot go wrong. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take my advice, have the best experience possible, take care of yourselves, and just remember it's a marathon, not a sprint. But you got to live your life and have fun. And we're all here to learn from experiences. So I hope you guys have a safe and amazing Miami Music Week. And thank you so much for watching this video. Bye, guys.